Here.
Muller. Vaughn, not here.
With notice.
With notice, okay. Harstad and Nelson here.
All right, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Need a motion to approve the posted agenda. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same. That motion carries. Minutes from last month. We need a September 15 meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Minutes are approved. Claims. Motion to approve the October claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Claims are approved. The rest of the financials. Take a motion to approve.
So we need to know, Toby.
Approved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor of approving the financials, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Open comments.
Mike, will you be covering the comments from Facebook on the Schoenfelder land in
Yeah.
open comments or later on tonight?
We can talk about them now.
Because I've got a few comments I'd like to add to that as well, so,
Go for it.
all right. For those who don't know, Andrew Henning, member of the city council, Parks Board chairman. We've got 3 other members of the Parks Board here tonight as well. We've been looking at the preliminary concept of the Schoenfelder development, and we had some concerns and just kind of wanted to get some guidance from you guys of what type of time frame you're looking at dealing with the Schoenfelder land and getting the development a little bit further along as far as just from the preliminary standpoint. We had concerns about the size of parkland that was allotted that we could see in the original map, and I don't know if the map has changed since then. This is from your meeting last month. So I don't know if anything has changed on there. We had questions about the detention pond that's sitting there. Things dealing with that is, would it be accessible to all members of the city? Would it be, how deep is it? How big is it? Those type of things. We were looking to see if it would be deep enough to house fish, that people could potentially fish out of there.
Can I just maybe, hey,
Go
let's do
ahead,
this-
yes, go
Let's
ahead.
do them one at a time.
What's that?
Let's do them one at a time, just so I can keep up. So, amount of parkland. We had not talked about creating another park. It was more green space. But why we posted it was to get comments, so what are you guys thinking?
Well, and we had looked at the amount of houses that will be there, the fact that from what we understand is that they're going to be entry-level type homes, not your $400,000 or $500,000 homes, but maybe
Yeah, probably not.
175, 250 in that type of range, which we think would appeal to young families. So we'd be looking at, a lot of this development will have kids under 10 years old.
Agreed, yeah, agreed.
And we really believe that we need to have a park there. Because we even threw around the idea of the donation of money back in, and we could do more work at other parks. But when we looked at where this plot of land is at and its accessibility to other parks in town, it's either they gotta walk down the tracks to get to New Hope, or they gotta cross a highway to get to Sunset and then use the trails to get there. We just feel that it's a necessity to have a park in the new development.
Yeah, that map that you have there is by no means anything final or
Oh,
close to
yeah.
it. So that's,
Yep, I know
it
that.
just started out as, and that's what you was talking about, the green space around there, we're gonna try to, but yeah, there's things, and that's why it's out there, so you can come and bring that, so we know that, so when the development goes on, we can factor some of those things in. Yeah.
And a fifth member of our board just showed up, so.
Sorry, I was up at the school.
Oh, you're okay. So that was,
So the detention pond,
yes.
we actually joked about fishing. But I don't have any details of it yet, other than we have to have one. We haven't talked about making it any more than a detention pond. But it's fluid.
In about a month it won't be, but
Yeah.
anyway, that was one of the things we had talked about. We talked about thinking about how deep it would be. Could it even house fish? I mean, there's lakes in the state that are 6, 7 feet deep that still house fish, but, you know, they're a lot bigger and there's a lot more space for those fish to be in. We didn't know how big it would be. That was a question that the board had for you guys.
Okay.
Butch and I have kind of talked a little bit about this, and I don't want to talk for him, and he's certainly welcome to say what he was thinking about, but we've done, as far as I know, Sunset completely backwards. We said, here's the land, let's worry about what we got to do to put in it later. And it's really gone awry, I would say. Lots of things in the park, lots of things to do, but there was no planning of it. It was just, let's do it as we go. And one of the things that we dearly miss in that park is a bathroom. And I understand that with the sewer system, the way that it's set up down there, we may never see one down there. And I felt, and for a majority of the park board members, they felt that we'd like to see a bathroom here and like to have it there from the opening of the park. Not try to get grants 10 years down the road to put a bathroom in that park. Again, if you have 75 plus houses in that neighborhood, I mean, yeah, the kids are a block or two away from their house, but I think at least a smaller running water bathroom would be nice in that park. That being said, one of the things we had talked about was adding a surcharge to the lots, where we had like $500 or $1,000 onto the cost of the lots, and then that money would be earmarked towards the park, either getting a bathroom in there or hoping to get more money to get a bathroom in there, playground equipment, et cetera, et cetera. That's pretty much what we talked about, wasn't it, Butch? Yeah. Doing that. And I know that times are difficult at times, and people look at the cost of a lot, and, you know, somebody that's gonna build a $200,000, $250,000 house isn't gonna really look at an extra $1,000 onto the cost of a lot. Knowing that that would eventually lead to, hey, we're gonna have a really nice park for our kids to go to.
That's not uncommon, I've seen that before.
And, you know, Sioux Falls, they pop up all over the place. They're not, these bathrooms in Sioux Falls aren't immaculate. I mean, they serve their purpose. We don't need a $300,000 bathroom there. We need a $75,000 bathroom or a $50,000 bathroom. One bathroom, one stall, sink, maybe a storage room off to the side of it, whatever. I mean, we're open.
Yeah, we've got the plans in place. We've built one over at,
Yes.
Paul Meyer.
Paul Meyer.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that one. You guys think of anything else? I lost my original sheet, so I was a little concerned that I wouldn't be able to cover everything. We did have, as far as with this preliminary concept, we did pick out 2 or 3 places where we felt the park could go and would be really good. And I can share that with you at some point in time. I don't see you guys have maps in front of you, so we can certainly share that with you after the meeting or
Yeah, you bet.
whenever.
Yeah, just make a copy of it or something.
Yep. And it's basically the bigger lots and try to make it essential. I know that the city council meeting, we had touched upon maybe a parking lot area. I don't know if this park is gonna get to the size of needing a parking lot. I'm not really sure. It doesn't look like we're planning on a ball field or anything.
Not in that location.
Yeah. This is gonna be basically a park and not much, I mean, maybe a basketball court, maybe, I don't know. It just kind of depends on what it's gonna be like. But I don't necessarily know if we need a parking lot, but I think there's plenty of parking on the street for what we would consider normal activities at that park. Yeah.
Ron Person, I'm on the park board. Along that line of parking and the availability of it, we have, and he'll talk to you about that more central location as opposed to the pond location, which is down on one corner. So if you get into this 60-house complex here, we were thinking more centrally located would be better because you have some streets going around there and you have your on-street parking there in front of the different houses rather than have it all down in one corner. So we kind of were high on the idea of centrally locating so that we can spread out the parking and the kids have access to it from all different directions because that thing will probably be its own entity for quite a little while until future plans come along.
Sure, sure. Great.
And in that same vein, I mean, the development ordinance is such that we have to devote 5% to parks, which in what we just bought is essentially 2 acres. Is the layout. And we are so far away from being able to say anything about anything. But, this is a little bit different situation because we're still tied to the city a little bit here. But, the location for Sunset Park, it got put there because that's where Cliff couldn't build any houses.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the idea of centrally locating a park, but I also, from an economic standpoint, I can't give away two acres of lots, which is probably 6 or 7 lots of prime space that's sellable. So there's got to be some. We'll get there. I mean, we're a long ways out in the process, but.
And I think as we looked at the map, we came up with at least 3 areas that would still be centrally located and not have to give up that. I mean, we're not necessarily looking for 2 acres. I think, I can't remember what Scott said at the city council meeting when we were discussing it. From one of these spots that we found in here, we may only need 1 lot. It's a corner lot, very huge. I'm sure you can probably figure out where that's at. But the other couple of places that we looked at were 2 lots. And we know that that's a lot to give up, but in order to develop and show people that we're still a growing community with the thought of parks and those things ahead of us, that we think it's very important that we look at that. And we know that this is a long road, and we just don't want something to get lost along the way, and try and do the best we can. Instead of trying to go back 10 years after something's been built and try and backfill everything that we need in there.
One of the things that we talked about is this is the first time that we've been able to do something from scratch.
Yes,
It's not a hand-me-down,
yes.
so we love comments. You bet.
Did any of the rest of you have any comments from?
No, I think you hit it on the head.
Well, I thank you, and we'll keep coming along as many times as we can.
Nice to be on the front end of one.
It is, yeah.
Anything else in open comments? Just share it quickly, we did receive a couple of comments on the Facebook page. I'm sure most of you saw them. Somebody asked about access, didn't read the map very well,